it just feels good to be back in the playoffs. It's something that, after a while you start to wonder, are we really going to be stuck in this forever? You look at a team like Buffalo, obviously, who just made it into the playoffs too, and we're always happy that you cut your streak out as soon as you can. There's that. I mean, Detroit's still on their drought now, and it's nice to be at least on the positive side of it, and that's something that you can't take it away from us. We're a playoff team. Let's go!
Welcome back, Benchwarmers. Starting this weekend, we begin the march to the Stanley Cup. The most coveted trophy in all of sports is on the line, and we are back on the bench to give our playoff thoughts and predictions. Joining me today are longtime friends Aaron, Tyler, and Andrew, although Aaron and Tyler are live from Nashville, Tennessee, even though it looks like Anaheim behind them. And Andrew and I are back here in California, excited for the Ducks game tomorrow. Now, welcome, gentlemen. Did you guys get a good flight already and get there? I know you're late, but did you get there safely and everything's okay?
Not too bad. Happy to be here. I think we got in just a little bit late. Not too bad, but...
Yeah, a little delayed, but I mean, that's expected, especially with late-night flights. But got here safe. A couple bumps during the flight, but, all things considered, got here pretty safe.
I am like the biggest... I hate flying. I do it because we have to, but I absolutely hate it. So anytime there's any bump, I'm like... I can't even imagine one bump. I'm not a fan. Andrew, I know last time you were here, we were talking about baseball and stuff, but now here we are for hockey. How are we feeling, sir? Although your Kings hat. Oh, no, you went to the Panthers hat. You changed it.
I should take that off, huh?
No, keep that one on. Go back.
They beat the Leafs.
Yeah, that's like
yeah, switching 93 teams.
I'm feeling good. I'm excited for playoffs more than ever. Like, it's just exciting time right now.
Yep, absolutely. Now, as the Kings fan, obviously you've been in for a while, but as a Ducks fan, we haven't been in a long time, so it's feeling really nice to be there.
Plus,
okay, now before we get started, go ahead, Ty, what you got?
We've won a round more recently than the Kings. Sorry, Andrew, but
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. But.
Yeah, he has two. But no, is that really, Tyler, is that true? Are you serious?
Yeah, the last time they won a round was 2014 when they won the Cup. They have not won a round since then.
And we beat the Oilers in 17. Something the Kings can't do is beat the Oilers. I shouldn't talk about that.
That was a lot younger McDavid. Okay, let's be nice to us.
Let's not make it 5 in a row. Let's not make it 5 in a row.
Yeah, if you're serious.
5.
All right, now before we get started, we jump into all the playoff matchups. If you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes. Okay, guys, the playoffs are here. Well, technically Saturday, but as a Ducks fan, as we talked about, Aaron, Tyler, we have a game tomorrow that kind of is a playoff game in general. But before we even get into all the Western Conference mess that there is, let's just start with the East because it's nice and easy, and we know who the hell's playing each other. So I'm going to give you guys each matchup. We're going to go one by one. After I give that matchup, let's just each give our thoughts on who you think might win it, any storylines you're looking forward to. I know, obviously, Crosby's back in with the Penguins. Aaron might be happy because Zegras is in with the Flyers or whatever, but just going to give you a series. Give me each your thoughts.
Well, starting with Penguins-Flyers, if you want to start there. I mean, what an incredible storyline for the Penguins that this could be their last chance at it is that with their core three, you got Malkin, Crosby, and Letang.
True.
Already proven everything at this point with their championships that they have, but they get one more chance to go at it with the whole group. So that'll be exciting. And like you mentioned, Trevor Zegras' first chance at the playoffs. Just saying. You just get Michigan in the playoffs. I think we'll see a Michigan in the playoffs.
Au contraire, I do believe proven playoff goaltender Stuart Skinner will easily lead the Pittsburgh Penguins to a round one sweep of the fraud Philadelphia Flyers.
Damn.
Wow, sweep. Okay, all right. Okay, now, obviously, between those two guys, because they're crazy about this stuff. Andrew, thoughts on Flyers and Penguins in the first round?
Seeing the stepbrothers in the playoffs, it's a little interesting to see them in an interstate battle between Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania, but it's going to be exciting. Is this Crosby's last chance? We will see. I mean, how deep of a run can they make? It's just going to be a real fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, I kind of think in a weird way Pittsburgh got lucky by getting Philly because there's not a lot of experience there, and obviously there's a ton on the Penguin side. So in a weird way, I kind of think it worked out for them to at least get past them. And then in hockey, obviously, once you're in, anything can happen. So I think if they get to that second round and they could feel good about themselves, especially if you get a hot goalie, Penguins could definitely make a run. And if Crosby does win another one, which I would hate, please retire. Go away. I'm tired of him and Ovechkin. I love them, but please go. It's time to move on. You guys are like 40 years old. Stop. Although Corey Perry, same thing, dude. It's time to retire. Call it a day. My Lord.
Okay. We just lost Jonathan Quick. He's gone.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick retired as well. Yeah. Okay. On the other side of there, we got the Ottawa Senators going to the Carolina Hurricanes. Andrew, let's start with you on this one. Thoughts on the Canes and the Senators?
I don't know. I think this is way one-sided. I think Carolina is just a beast of a team. They have been for a while, but they can't seem to just finish the job. Maybe this is the year. I don't know. But I don't think Ottawa stands a chance, really. It could be 4 or 5 game series.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you there at all, to be honest with you. Until I really looked at the stands, I kind of didn't realize Ottawa's even in a wild card chase, but they literally got the last one, so barely made it in, which makes sense. Tyler, thoughts on the series?
Yeah, just echoing what Andrew said. Realistically, I think at the end of the day, as young as the team as Ottawa is at times, I think that Carolina has really improved with the addition of Brandon Bussey. I think that he's been somebody that has really kind of helped to solidify the goaltending position. That's really what killed him last year with Anderson and Kochetkov, really. So I think that, are they a team that maybe still needs a star, possibly? But I think it's for sure Carolina. I'm not going to be as confident in the Carolina in 4 necessarily as I was with the Fraud Flyers. No, I think Carolina for sure.
Okay, Aaron, obviously, Andrew mentioned it, that Carolina's been here at the top in the conference finals a million times, it seems like, the last decade, never can get over the hump. Is this something do you think they can get past Ottawa, and do you think they have a real chance at the Cup?
So, if you remember, at the beginning of the year, I was here with Brennan at the start with our NHL playoff NHL season preview.
By the way, hold on, before you go any further, 35 to 40 goals for Cutter, second place for the Ducks. I'm pretty damn close.
That's
just saying,
good.
Continue.
That's pretty good. I mean, hey, we'll take the better end of that with the 40 goals for Cutter, right?
We could technically finish in second.
We could still finish in second, technically.
Yeah, true, technically.
My very true and accurate prediction at the beginning of the year was that Ottawa would be the team to come out of the East. And at the time, that was just because I really was not high on any Eastern team. That was before the Buffalo Sabres came to town, too, and showed that they're a team that actually has something going, which is crazy for the first time. But yeah. I think I have to stick with my first take from October, and I'll take the Senators to move on with Brady Tkachuk, Olympic gold medal winning Brady.
See, Aaron, this is why you're frustrating as a fan of hockey, because you don't make any sense a lot of the time. We'll get into why I think that more when we get to the Western Conference and the particular team we might like and root for, but I'll leave it at that for now. But you are ridiculous as a fan, sir. That's all
I'm being honest. I don't know that that's actually happened, but I feel like Carolina should cakewalk this, let's be real. But let's just be fun and say that maybe Ottawa moves on.
Just run with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that ends up happening, we're coming back and we're going to post this everywhere, and Aaron was right, and I'll eat it. Right. But I don't think that's going to happen. Now, you did mention the Sabres, so we'll move over to that side. Sabres, who came out of nowhere, had a really good second half of the season, especially, and been on a tear. They get to host the wild card one Boston Bruins, who, there's some experience up there, obviously, as well. Let's start with Tyler on this one. Tyler, thoughts on the Bruins and Sabres series?
I think it'll be a fascinating series. I think realistically, Buffalo has very clearly had a hot streak since the 3rd week of the season, maybe a little bit farther than that. But I think the biggest thing with Buffalo, even with their young talent, at the end of the day, they're not probably going to make a deep run, as much as it pains me to say that. I love the city of Buffalo. They have the best food in the world. Shout out Bar Bill. But realistically,
wait, hold on, back up. You just said Buffalo has the best food in the world.
Yeah, I know.
It's
the take. I don't understand.
Because you've never been to Buffalo. You don't know it.
I don't know. You're right.
I've flown into Buffalo, and then I went straight to Niagara Falls because I was like, what the fuck am I going to do in Buffalo? So I'm surprised you're saying you have a favorite food spot there. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, you're good. It's literally just eating. Bar Bill has the best chicken wings I've had in my life. They're Cajun honey butter barbecue. Anybody who's ever in... Technically, it's East Aurora, New York, for reference. Please go to Bar Bill Tavern. It's incredible. Ultimately, I think Buffalo still is
flight right now.
Andrew gets it. I think Boston does have a lot of the playoff depth that they've really traded. I think that yes, you have your Pasta, you have Mac, and to an extent, you have Hampus Lindholm, of course. Former nut.
Oh, we like those guys.
Ricard Raquel? No, he's in Pittsburgh. Just kidding. Different color.
At least for the first round, I think Buffalo for sure has what it takes to at the very least beat Boston. Maybe in a 5 or 6 game series, maybe 7 if it really kind of goes into net. I mean, I think the 3-headed monster of Ellis, Lyon, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has been very fascinating to watch this year. Very clearly 3 tandem goalies don't really work in this league, but they seem to be doing a good job of balancing it. But I think Buffalo is my pick.
Okay, all right. I can't really argue with you there. Kind of have the same feeling. I get your thought though, as far as like maybe Boston could go in there and do an upset, because and you did mention they got rid of some of the experience, but there's still some of it there. And for whatever reason, Boston just always seems to be in the thick of it. So I can't really count them out until I see them, dethroned. So Andrew, thoughts on the series?
A lot of what Tyler said. I mean, honestly, like halfway through the season, I didn't even realize until I was like, Buffalo's good. And then we had that game with them a couple months ago where it was just like that shootout of like, what was it, 6-5 was the final. Ducks pulled it out at the end. It was just like, what a game. And that I got to see it in my eyes. I'm like, Buffalo, they can make that run. Boston's going to be tough, of course, with that playoff experience. But, if it gets 6, or 7, it could be anyone. And Buffalo could be that anyone.
Oh, you think Boston is mad that they don't have Brad Marchand this year for that run?
Oh, they need him. They need him for this. Oh my goodness.
And he's sitting at home now. Florida's not even in the playoffs, which is kind of crazy. Although they did go to 3 straight finals, so I can't really, be mad at them about that, I guess. It is what it is. All right, Aaron, thoughts on the series, sir?
I mean, I'm just so happy for Buffalo and their fans. Like, looking at a team that's been out of it for so long, for as long as I can remember at this point. I mean, it's insane. Like that. I think there was very much still like no touch or touch up icing and like all these other old rule changes. There was no 3-on-3 the last time they were in the playoffs. Leading up to it, there was no everything is so different in the league. It's incredible. I think they said a post like Macklin Celebrini was
the iPhone that did just come out the year the last time?
Yeah, iPhone had just come out. Like no one.
That's always the thing when like somebody hasn't done this in so long. When the last time they did, we had one cell phone and we had it's just like hilarious that it comes down to the electronic stuff. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, and they just obviously never won the cup. Got really close a couple times in their history, but yeah, it's really cool to see that finally, after losing so many talented players to other teams, they go on to win. Like now, they have a chance for their own guys to get in there and get some playoff experience. So that being said, I do think they have what it takes to do a 7-game series with Boston and take them out, but I don't know how much further they go past that. I think what Tyler mentioned about their goaltending situation as well is it's tough. You need a number one guy to go far, I think, and that'll be tough. But it's all house money for them because they're in the playoffs, and that's a weird thing to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine they do it, but Josh Allen can't. Like, just imagine the city of Buffalo turn on Josh Allen.
Josh Allen catching strays. I love it, Andrew. It's great.
Noted former Ducks fan Josh Allen. How dare you?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, good luck to the Sabres. I'm with you guys. I kind of really root for them just because they haven't been in so long now. Obviously, a longer amount of time than the Ducks, as we have felt that for 8 years. But I'm excited and happy for them to be back in. But I'm with you, Aaron. I feel like they can get past the first. Depending on matchup from there, I don't know if they're going to get very far.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the last matchup on the Eastern Conference. We have the Montreal Canadiens going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, we know the Lightning haven't won in a while, but it's still a lot of the same guys that have won before with them when they had their run. So do we think Tampa obviously can take care of Montreal? Do you guys have an upset in this series? Let's start with Andrew.
Are they going back to the finals? They have Corey Perry. I mean, that seems to be the trend.
That's right.
That was just I was shocked that he got traded anyway, but like, hey, maybe they need him.
It just means they're gonna lose.
yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Like, we'll see.
Oh man, thanks. Okay, Tyler, Montreal, Tampa Bay. Your thoughts on the series, sir?
I think Montreal is a very good up and coming team. I think obviously Cole Caulfield. Mr. 51 goal scorer, as well as Lane Hudson. I think they have a lot of incredible young talent. I think having Dobish and Fowler, especially as a goaltending tandem, could become good for them long term. Definitely picking Tampa in this one. I think Vasilevsky at the end of the day is still one of the best goalies in the world, if not the best goalie in the world, realistically. The Lightning are going to be coming back as pissed off as ever that they lost to Florida last year. And ultimately, I think that, not winning the division, yes, certainly they have a tougher matchup with Montreal, but I think that that's going to work in their favor, and it's going to get them in that mood of playoff hockey quicker. And I definitely think Tampa's a team to maybe make it a little bit farther in the first round. We'll take a look, obviously. And as Andrew mentioned, Corey Perry, so statistically,
That's the craziest freaking stat, I swear. Looking at it before I get your thoughts, Aaron, Tampa Bay Light, Montreal Canadiens. I'm looking at Canadiens. Is Martin St. Louis still coaching them?
Yes, he is.
Wow, I'm not going to lie. When they first hired him, I thought it was one of those like, we'll try it and see what happens. He might be here a year or two. He's been there like, what, 5 or 6 years now, if I had to guess off the top of my head?
It's coming up on a few years here. I mean, it's surprising 3 or 4 now, I think.
Yeah, but either way, that's
Was he not coaching them in the bubble when they went to the final?
No.
I thought he was. You sure?
Hold on. Let's get
Who's got the fact check?
I got it.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna Google now because I gotta find out. Because I'm pretty sure he's been there a lot longer than I realized. And as I think about it,
and I kind of feel like that's familiar now that I think about it. But it might have been
22 to now. So I guess he did just miss it. He did just miss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know why I thought I saw that. Okay. Anyways, just
it's
again, my thoughts on Martin St. Louis still coaching is kind of crazy. So, Aaron, your thoughts on the series?
Well, and then that kind of goes to it as well. The fact that he's still a coach kind of speaks to how well he's meshed with this group and all their young players. Sure. They did a really quick retool from that cup run, that miraculous bubble playoff cup run with Carey Price's last bit of energy in that, as an athlete carrying them there. But they've impressed. They've really shown that they're a more competitive team than they have been in the past. They were in it, recently, obviously last year, right? They were in it, and so now we have. They're real, this is the moment where they have to prove themselves if they're for real or if they still need a little more work and tooling. But that being said, I think Tampa Bay, as we talked about, they have a lot to prove here. They have most of their same core from the back-to-back cups. They have the legacy of Florida to uphold here because they've been in the past 6 Eastern Conference Finals and Stanley Cup Finals, actually, yeah. So, because they went 2 and then lost 1, and then Florida loses the next one, win 2. So they're still keeping that alive, and I think there's a lot there where they want to just keep the dominance of Florida hockey. So, it's their turn to hold the torch now that Florida's out of the playoffs. So, Panthers out of the playoffs, it's their ball to run with because that's been their really only tough opponent for a bit here. Yeah, so
I know this is a weird stat to look up. I'm not going to do it now because it would take too much time to really figure it out. But how many teams from the same state have won the conference so many years in a row?
In a row?
Just in general. If they win addition, that's 7 in a row from the same state. Same division maybe, or same, would be more likely, but the same state is kind of crazy to me. So, okay, guys, Eastern Conference is set. We already know who's playing who. We all good. The Western Conference is a shit show. So I'm going to give you the matchups we know for sure first, because we know 2 of them. And then we'll discuss the other 2, whatever could happen tomorrow night, and see what happens. So let's start with, unfortunately, the Vegas Golden Knights won tonight, so they have clinched the Pacific Division. They will be hosting the Utah Mammoth. Nope, they cannot jump up any higher. They are the wild card 1 no matter what. Let's start with Tyler on this one. Tyler, thoughts on the Utah Mammoth going to Vegas? This is Utah's first playoff experience, obviously, as the Utah Mammoth. So thoughts on the matchup?
I think it'll be fascinating. I think ultimately, having a young Utah team that obviously they had some pieces that were in that COVID bubble year in Arizona, admittedly, that have a little playoff experience, but it's definitely a different monster, especially. A lot of questions about Vegas's goaltending, with Aiden Hill being a Stanley Cup winning goaltender, weirdly. I think ultimately, even with him seemingly being relegated to backup under Carter Hart, I still think Vegas has the talent to, at the very least, beat Utah. I don't know.
They're hot with Tortorella in there too.
Yeah, true, exactly. But the biggest thing is, even watching some of their games, admittedly, as we're kind of scoreboard watching down the last couple of games of the year here with the Ducks, it wasn't like there was this drastic shift seemingly from Cassidy hockey to Torts hockey. So I think it'll be really interesting to tell how playoff Torts comes out and how that's going to drastically change. Andre Tourigny hasn't had a long history in Utah. There's some rumors that maybe Utah was looking at Pete DeBoer before he ended up on the island. So I think that Vegas is still my pick here, but I'm not super confident with the Vegas pick in this one.
Okay, interesting. Andrew, let's throw it over to you, sir. Utah Mammoth. Oh, by the way, the first playoff experience or appearance also for the Zammoth that they have now over there. I don't know if you guys saw the
They announced that like a week or two ago, like came out of nowhere. It's like freaking awesome. That thing looks amazing.
Okay, so we love the Zammoth, but what are your thoughts on the series, Andrew?
I don't like Vegas, but Vegas has been in the playoffs every year since they've been here, except for 1 year.
Yeah.
And they truly have that experience. And now, Mitch Marner helped them get there even further. We'll see how that goes. Firing their head coach a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, weird late. But...
Bringing in, I can't pronounce his name right now. I'm
yeah.
Like, interesting. And somehow it's working. So we'll see how far that gets them. I would like to see Utah win, but I feel like Vegas just has that experience. They have the home ice. Their crowd's going to be insanely pumped for it again. It's going to be a tall order for Utah, but go to 6 or 7 games, maybe. We'll see. But I got Vegas. It's hard for me to not bet on them.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Hey, no pun on the bet there. Good call. I'm with you though. I think Golden Knights are going to win the series. I want the Utah Mammoth to win because I'm with you. I hate the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, okay, maybe hate's a strong word. I don't like using that word, but those fans have had no real losing. So they are freaking
Vegas Knights fan. I've been a lifelong fan.
Yes, and they've won every year. Like you said, they've been in the playoffs and went to the final twice, including the first year. Like, they're just fans are annoying. The only thing I like about them right now, and not because I like the person, I don't want to talk about whatever happened off the ice, but I just like saying his name. Kata Hot. I don't know what it is about that guy's name. I can't not say it when I hear it. Okay, so besides the Zammoth, obviously we're all excited about. Aaron, thoughts on the series?
So once again, you're going to think I'm crazy here. I don't hate Vegas.
I already think that. You're not changing my mind on that, Aaron. You're not changing my mind.
No. I totally get why everyone else hates Vegas. I totally get it. But, they're a good team, and they actually have done a lot of smart moves. I kind of respect their cutthroat nature, the way that they just kind of discard pieces when they're no longer useful. There's a lot of teams that maybe loyalty sinks them, and it's definitely not a good trait because I feel like you look at signing in Vegas and you're like, well, what am I signing an 8-year deal there for if I'm going to get traded in 2? It's in the long term, it's going to hurt them. And I think when they fall, it's going to be hard. They're going to take a long time to recover. But it's not this year yet because they're in the playoffs. They're a top seed. And unfortunately for us here, if you don't want to see Vegas move on, I think they will with the fact that the Mammoth are just still a little too underdone. I think they don't have quite a solid net at all. They're going to give up a lot of goals. And the other thing, too, is that somehow, even with all their defenders, they have a lot of good names over there. They have Sergachev, who's a cup winner with the Lightning. And you have, Sean Dursey and a lot of good pieces. And that it's somehow not working most of the nights. Like, they give up a lot of goals. And they don't score a lot either. So that's the thing. They have some good goal scorers. But if you isolate those players on the roster, which I think Jack Eichel, guys from the USA gold medalist Jack Eichel, I think there's a lot of good players on their team, and Marner is a guy who really has a lot to prove too. So I think there's just too much going for Vegas. They'll kind of go over them, but should be a fun series regardless. Some expansion teams, recent expansion teams in a way, because the Mammoth are considered a new franchise from Arizona going at it, and I think it'll be fun regardless.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's gonna be a great series, and back to Andrew's point, going into Vegas that's gonna be a loud, rowdy, like just that place is gonna be crazy. Yeah. They're gonna be pumped because no one thought 2-3 weeks ago they'd make the playoffs possibly, or even host or win the division, and here they are having done all of it. So I think there's a lot of excitement for Vegas, but I don't want them to win because I'm tired of them. They annoy me. Okay. The other matchup we know for sure on the Western side is going to be the Minnesota Wild are going to the Dallas Stars. Obviously, they were in the same division. They know each other very well. I think only separated by like 6 or 8 points at the end of the day. So let's go with Aaron. We'll just stick with you, sir. Your thoughts on the Stars and Minnesota Wild?
Sounds good. Well, having just been to Minnesota, seeing a game there, although admittedly not
Aaron Tyler back to back, since you guys were both in the city of Minnesota yesterday watching the Ducks game. You guys go first on your thoughts on the Minnesota setup against the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we've known this matchup is coming for a while. We were in their team store. They already have the matchup pucks for Dallas versus Minnesota. round one.
Wow.
They're hyped for it. They unfortunately for us as Ducks fans, they kind of didn't even dress starters and we still lost, which sucks because they're just ready
Yeah.
for round one. They're just waiting now because they can't move up or down. This is their matchup. They're going to be
Yep.
on the road in Dallas, and it's tough because they're a good team, the Wild. It's just going to be an insurmountable task to get over the Stars. They've been running with it for
I
a
agree.
while. They were threatening to lead the division at times when Colorado struggled in the middle of the year. And they've just got a lot of guys who have been here a long time. You still have Jamie Benn. Tyler Seguin, longtime star, is hurt, so he won't be playing, unfortunately, for them. But they got a deep team. Jason Robertson, they got offense all around. And as much as the Wild have really turned a new corner, I feel like they've really kind of got a new identity with Quinn Hughes on their blue line now. It's not the setup they need, I think, this year to be able to get over a tough opponent so early. This honestly should be a later round matchup, but it's just how the divisional playoffs work now, where you get two really good teams. We're gonna have to, one has to go home, and I do think it will be Minnesota going home.
Okay. All right. Tyler, your thoughts, since you were also in the city of Minneapolis yesterday, or St. Paul, technically, because that's where their stadium
Yes,
is.
sir. Yeah, I mean, I think what Aaron was saying is really going to be kind of the biggest test. I think, we were talking to one of my friends who lives up here, lives in Minnesota, I should say. And he was very blunt that he thinks Minnesota is going to get killed. I think ultimately, as great as Minnesota's goaltending can be, I think that it's kind of a case they had a couple of years ago with Gustafsson and Fleury when they shared the net. Now, obviously, it's Gustafsson and Wallstead. I think ultimately it's going to be fascinating to see if a guy actually takes the net. I think Gus is their starter, probably. But, I mean, Wallstead looked pretty good last night. So
He did.
At the end of the day,
I think that's 1-8 in their last 9 games, guys. Relax. They didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't play
fair
like
enough.
Putting up shots wasn't the problem last night. Stop with the puck.
I think ultimately the biggest thing that's going to really sink Minnesota, unfortunately, is going to be their center depth. When your top line center is Yoel Eriksson Ek, I don't know if you can win a playoff round like that. As great as Quinn Hughes is, as great as Kirill Kaprizov is, as great as some of their pieces are, ultimately, especially out west, center depth is king. That's one of the reasons that I'm sure, as we'll talk about Colorado, they're a feared opponent because they have arguably the best 4 centers in terms of depth-wise in the league. I think ultimately it sucks for Minnesota, especially losing to the team that stole the North Stars.
True.
I think that's a fascinating storyline. Obviously it's almost 30 years ago, over 30 years ago now, excuse me. This happened, but it's something that it's hard to pick against Dallas. I've very clearly been on the Dallas bandwagon the last couple of years, and they haven't gotten over the hump past the conference final. I don't know if this is necessarily the year, but I definitely think Dallas is the team to beat.
Yeah, I agree. Andrew, your thoughts on Stars and Wild, sir?
These guys said it all. I mean, I think Dallas is gonna 5 or 6 games, maybe 4. I don't know, maybe not 4. But yes, this should be a later round series because these are 2 great teams that have obviously earned their spots way ahead of everyone else. And, Quinn Hughes, insane trade deadline pickup. But I think Dallas with Jason Robertson, probably the biggest snub from the Olympics team.
Yeah.
They're gonna lead the charge and probably have to play Colorado in the second round. And again, should be a Stanley Cup or a Western Conference final series, but it's just the way the playoffs work.
Yeah, I hate this new bracket. I know what they were doing when they set this up. They wanted like division opponents to play each other in the playoffs and build rivalries, and that was great. But I don't want to, if you're a Kings fan, you've played the same team 4 years in a row. I don't want to play the same team over. If we do 1 through 8, I think it would mix it up a little bit. We might get some of these matchups we want in a conference final instead of in a first round. That's going to be like, oh, cool. There's 8 other series, so I'm not even paying attention to it like I wish I could. So I'm with you guys, though. I think Dallas Stars are going to win this series really easily. It's not that Minnesota's not good, like you guys mentioned, but Dallas is just that much better, and they've been really close, as you said, a couple of times now. I think this might be their year they actually make it to the conference final, if not a final, but we got a long ways to go. Now, here's where the West gets, I don't even know what to say anymore. Okay, so we know Colorado, number 1 seed, won the President's Trophy, murdered everybody. That's great. Here's where the 3 other teams that we like to play in the Pacific Division like to screw things up. All right, so Oilers, Ducks, Kings. We're all in. We just don't know who's going where and who's hosting what. So I'm going to give you the first option of what could happen, and then we'll go around and give our thoughts, and then we'll get through all 4 of these. So the first option is Ducks could host the Oilers if they win and the Oilers lose. Now, if we have to host the Oilers, I would feel much better. What are your guys' thoughts? Let's start with Tyler.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that as young of a team as Anaheim is, certainly, I think that the crowd at Anaheim, or in Anaheim, I should say, certainly seems to help the team. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we've been able to come back as much as we have throughout the course of the year. I think hosting the Oilers would be a lot more better. Would just be a better matchup for us. I personally think Draisaitl's not going to be ready game 1. I think that, yes, they could admittedly be playing possum, but I think he's probably a game 2, maybe game 3 guy, depending on that. And I think ultimately, from the way the brackets are set, potentially, if we do have to potentially play the Oilers, I would much rather face them in round 1 before Connor Ingram maybe gets hot. Long term.
Although, would you rather see them in a later round? Because since they've been to 2 straight finals, 3 straight finals. Why can I not remember? 2 straight, going for 3rd. Maybe war of attrition. Maybe they don't have it enough in them because, as you mentioned, Draisaitl might not be in game 1. So could that play to our advantage? I don't know. Just thinking.
Potentially. I mean, I think the biggest thing ultimately is, as we'll get to the later scenarios here in a second, I think hosting game 1 and game 2, of course, against the Oilers is probably the most, I don't know if I'd say that most favorable, but it's definitely a lot more favorable, certainly, than if you're going on the road round 1 or game 1 or 2,
Correct.
or if you're going to the President's Trophy winners games 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Okay, Andrew, your thoughts on if the Ducks have to host the Oilers?
Please, not the Kings. Please don't let the Kings get the Oilers. I agree with that. I think the Oilers are a team the Ducks can definitely hang with, and definitely, there's no way getting around McDavid. Yeah, you can try and shut him down, but McDavid's way too fast. But everyone else, especially if Draisaitl's not ready, there's the 1-2 punch. The 2 is out for maybe a game or 2, and you take advantage of that. Get up in the series. Goaltending, if Dostal can lock in, I think they can take that series, or at least take it very deep and hang with them.
Give them a play. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Aaron, I don't know if I want to ask you this question. What are your thoughts if the Ducks host the Oilers?
All right, let's start with this. I first came on your show here, Corey. I'm happy to be here. I first came on, and it was very clear the Ducks were not even get close that year, and it had been the same thing every year. I'm beyond thrilled that we're in the playoffs. Like, this is just incredible.
Well, of course, I would hope so, but that's not the question I asked you.
I have to preface it with that because I'm going to sound really bad right now.
I knew it.
There's very few scenarios I see where the Ducks go anywhere right now. Andrew mentions Dostal being a goalie. He hasn't been a goalie for a long time now. I think if we have Edmonton versus Anaheim first round, I think that may be one of the worst goaltending matchups I've ever seen in a playoff series, where it kind of shake your head at how are these two teams in the playoffs right now with these goalies and this defense.
I don't know. You could have said that about the Kings and Oiler matchup a year or two with some of their goaltending in those matchups.
Yeah, look, it's not going to be good. Pacific's been bad for a reason, right? Like, they've been behind the 8 ball a lot.
Yeah, true.
But I do think that makes for a very fun series because I think it's going to be high scoring every game at that point.
Yeah.
You would have to think that, both goalies kind of being shaky. Ingram's definitely got the better potential, I think, because he's been good at times this year for them. They've asked a lot of him, and he's kind of answered the bell, especially with Tristan Jarry just not working out.
Yeah.
But you look at Dostal, and he's got the talent, and clearly they've signed him long-term. They know he's got that in him. It's just a matter of, can he get that out? And maybe that playoff atmosphere does bring that out of him.
True.
I think the best case would be to host, though, obviously. There's no question. Home ice advantage is a real thing, and especially with a Ducks team that wants to play their matchups, getting the last change will really give an advantage to guys that can, like a guy like Cutter Gauthier, get him the matchups he needs to score those goals. And
very true.
That would be exciting to see. I think hosting the first game of the playoffs would just be the greatest thing. It would be amazing for us to see what the Ducks can bring in their new identity, this new era of Ducks hockey. So overall, though, I don't know how it'll fare for us, but we'll see. We'll see. We got more matchups to talk about.
Okay, now I can't argue with the thought of if we're hosting that, it is, as Tyler said, slightly more favorable in the Ducks' way, but at the end of the day, they have all the experience. They've been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, so they're going to be favorited in every game of the series regardless. But if the Ducks have to host them, I feel better than if we lose, or I should say, if we win tomorrow and the Oilers win tomorrow, then we say pat, we go to Edmonton in the first round. I think we all agree if we're going to them in the first round, we're going to lose that series. Whether we win a game or two or not, I don't know. But as we all said, it's better to host than to have to go to Edmonton. So hopefully that's what happens. Now, here's where it gets really weird. The Ducks can play, or I should say host the Kings, if the Oilers lose in regulation and the Ducks and Kings both win tomorrow. I'm not going to lie. I don't even want to ask you guys because I don't want to play the Kings in the first round. If we're going to play them, I want to play them in the second round. I don't want to play them in the first round. I feel like they're better than we are. Slightly more experience, obviously, with Doughty, Kopitar. They have Stanley Cup, but they have some other younger guys too. But they have more than we do. Although we have Killorn and a couple guys. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable about playing the Kings in the first round. So let's start with let's go with Andrew on this one. If we have to host the Kings, what are your thoughts on that series?
My heart would hurt, but
where does your allegiance lie? Where does your allegiance lie?
Hey, you shut your mouth over there, Mr. Terrible Fan. Let Andrew talk
first.
Team I
love or the team that pays me? Am I allowed to say that? I think that would be a 6 or 7 game series. I think that would be like an insanely fun series. The fans would love it. The energy would be explosive, both here and in LA. It would be just so fun to watch. Like I wouldn't be mad either way, honestly. I think I'd be more happy for the Ducks just because they've been out of it for so long.
Agreed.
But the goalie matchup is, I guess, Kemper. He's had his struggles too. He's not that great. Kopitar's last ride, would love to see him go off in the sunset, but we'll see. I don't know. We need to see Quentin Byfield pick it up. He's been sort of rocky this season after a great season last year. I don't know. I think it'd just be insanely fun. So fun.
Unfortunately, I have to agree. As much as I don't want to play them, it would be fun, especially because we haven't been in a while. The Ducks and Kings rivalry, this up the 5 freeway face-off or whatever we call it. It would be awesome. It would be fun. The league would love it. I just don't want to play them in the first round. I think we need to get another first round. And if we get in the second round, then I think I'm all in. It'd be an awesome, let's kick the shit out of each other battle. But I am hoping we don't have to get there. Aaron, I'm not even going to ask you. Tyler, thoughts?
What?
Wait a minute.
No, Tyler, go first and then Aaron.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing with a Kings-Ducks matchup is somebody who did, admittedly, go to a Kings-Ducks game at Crypto. Actually, all three of us did for fun.
We did.
What's up, Andrew? I think it would be fascinating. I think from a Ducks perspective, I don't know if I'll just speak for myself here. I have been very outspoken about feeling like there's been a lot of years where the Orange Country faithful have kind of let us down when it comes to Kings games. There's been a vast majority of Kings fans in the building, and it sucks. I mean,
we also have not been very good for a while, so give them a break. But if this is a playoff game, it better be a lot of Orange Country more than black and silver, for sure.
I agree.
Correct. So I think that will be really interesting to tell. I think overall, I'm fascinated to see how a Kings team does with Panarin in the playoffs. It's something that Fiala was one of their guys in terms of, especially in the regular season. He's not really been a proven playoff guy for the Kings, seemingly. Obviously, he's out, unfortunately, and it's always tough when you get an Olympic injury, of course. But, I think Panarin, even though he doesn't necessarily have that really recent playoff pedigree necessarily, because the Rangers are trash, I think that it could present some matchup problems for Anaheim, but I think, especially if we're hosting, I still like our chances, which is crazy to say. Maybe it's the little brother in me wanting to fight back, but, I think ultimately I like that matchup for us. I think Dostal has seemingly been, other than the one game Aaron almost left the shoes at, I think it's something that he seemingly rises to the big games against LA, and I would be fascinated to watch that. Now, just the way the brackets are split, it seemingly is going to be we either play LA in the first round or we're playing LA in the conference final.
Yep.
Because if LA doesn't face off against us in the first round, they have to go face Colorado. And obviously, because of the brackets, right, they could only face us in the conference, which would be fascinating.
That would be amazing because the
Jeez.
NHL would love
Oh my
it.
goodness.
We'd be Southern California gets to host the conference finals regardless of who's at home. It's whoever gets to go. Oh, that would be amazing. That'd be great.
It'd be fun also to see Panarin versus Trouba and Kreider.
Ooh,
Yeah.
not think
Yeah, very
about
good
that.
point.
There's a
Former
lot of
Rangers.
Rangers there. Huh, interesting. Okay, Aaron, what are your thoughts?
I just got one thing. No, beat LA. Beat
Okay.
LA. Look, I think
All
this
right.
is our best matchup. I think the Kings
Really?
are very much a team that has struggled a lot throughout the year. They set the record
True.
for the most losing points in overtime in a franchise, with 20 loser points coming out of that, which is
Okay.
just wild to say out loud. I think despite the fact that the Ducks, like I mentioned, have their issues and goaltending and defense, I think a matchup with the Kings just has to bring the best out of them. And like Tyler mentioned, I think this year especially, I've noticed, at least at the Kings games, there's been a better percentage of Ducks fans, and I think
Yes.
the excitement around the team in the new direction will bring out a lot of fans, and it'll be an exciting matchup. And best of all, on a personal note, the last time they played each other, and the only time they played each other in the playoffs, obviously LA won, and they ended Timu's retirement year.
Earlier.
Cut it short with a second round loss. I'm not saying we have to do the same back to Kopitar, but that's exactly what I'm saying. And we have to end his final year. Legend of the franchise, one of the
I like it. I like your thought. Okay, you know what? Kind of glad I asked your thoughts on this matchup now, Aaron. Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me wrong for
I have
once.
stuff to say.
Okay, I'm with you guys. I like I said, I don't want to play in the first round, but if we do, it would be great. The league would love it. I think Southern California hockey would be ecstatic about it. We have the goals down there in the AHL that are also in the playoffs. So just Southern California playoff hockey would be on a real horizon there. So
and the rain.
Now here and the rain, the rain. Okay, anyway, so the worst possibility of all this that could happen is if we lose tomorrow and the Kings win and jump us. We have to go to Colorado. Now, before I even ask you guys, I'm calling it now. Colorado in 2.5 games. Series is over. Just saying. I don't know.
Hear me out. Wait a minute.
Their goal differential is like almost plus 100, and ours is in the negative. I just don't feel good about them all. They're the best team. They have been from day one all season, so I don't think anybody's going to beat them at this moment. But let's start with you, Aaron, since, again, you kind of surprised me on your last one. But what are your thoughts if we have to go to Colorado?
Well, I might surprise you with this take, too. I think Colorado is one of the most overrated teams this year, especially, and overall. I don't believe in their roster construction. They have a lot of holes. They have a lot of guys that are just
Wait a minute. Stop. Pause. You're saying you don't agree or like their roster construction.
No.
They just scored and had the most points and wins of all the teams in the entire 32 teams.
That's fine. They have to play in the Pacific a lot.
Just wanted to clarify what you were saying and what that meant, but okay, continue.
That's all fine and dandy, but come playoffs, I think they have serious problems. However, they dressed some of them. They did go out and get Nazem Kadri, which is the biggest reason why I think they would still have an easy time. They would have an easy time anyways with the Ducks. Let's be real. I'm with you. They're not going to do much, but I think there is that small chance. There always is a chance, but there's an even tiny chance that the Ducks, if they play to their highest potential, can exploit the fact that they have some depth issues, I think, in scoring. I think they have obviously they have some of the best players in the league. They have McKinnon, they have Cale Makar on the back end. But I think ever since they lost out on Mikko Rantanen, despite the fact that Marty Necas, who I love, by the way, has filled in really nice over there. I do think that, just speaking on the Avalanche in general, because there's no way that we win. But speaking on the Avalanche in general, I do think that they're not built to go all the way, and this is where you clip this for when they win the Cup this year. I do still think.
Let me mark the date and time down right now.
I just don't like the Avs, but I didn't like them the year they won the Cup either. So that just proves I don't know what I'm talking about.
Then you're not voting with your head; you're voting with your heart. You dummy! Come on.
I don't like them. Something about them.
All right, Aaron. Thank you so much for your weird thoughts, Andrew.
McKinnon missed the net.
Andrew, if the Ducks have to go to Colorado, what are your thoughts on that matchup?
It's going to be tough. I mean, but it'd be fun to watch Czech brothers go against each other, Nichas and Gudas and Dostal.
True.
Ducks did win in Colorado 2-1 back in January.
That was Dostal's best game, right? That was Dostal's best game of the year by far. That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, he had 41 saves. Is that what it was? No.
Yeah, it was more even, I think, right?
Something like that. Something like that. Crazy. But I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just that's like maybe the President's Trophy curse will happen, and they will get bounced the first round, and the Ducks will take them out. Great, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what Colorado looks like in the playoffs. McKinnon, don't miss the open net.
All right, Tyler, your thoughts on us having to go to Colorado and get murdered?
So, just out of curiosity, does anybody by chance know who happened to be at that game on January 21st?
I think it was this guy.
Were you at the game, Tyler?
So, yes, that was very clearly Lucas Dostal's best game of the year by a very significant margin.
We got through 40. Oh, they're back. Go ahead, Tyler. You froze for a second there, but we got you now.
So, yeah, I was at the game. Fascinating to watch, I think is the polite way of saying it. I'd gone with, unfortunately, got off the Kings fan friend who lives in Colorado. But even she was turning to me and asking who this guy is. Like, is he for real? And this was obviously leading up to the Olympic break. I think that performance especially, I think Elliot Friedman was quoted as saying something to the effect of that performance alone is the reason why he thinks Dostal could steal a game against Canada or against the U.S. or anything. Obviously, that wasn't the case, of course. No, because they lost to Canada in the quarters. But that shows why the organization chose to give Dostal a 5x5. That being said, that's one game. The thing that I will kind of admittedly agree with Aaron to an extent, there's a lot of things about Colorado I just don't know. Like, they do admittedly have the best penalty kill in the league if you're looking from a statistical perspective. But if you're looking from a power play perspective, they're 27th. That's terrible for the amount of offensive talents they have. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Like, it's something that I think that'll be fascinating. I think Blackwood and Wedgwood both admittedly have been good goalies for them, but I mean, I feel like Blackwood's kind of bounced around a little bit. Wedgwood's pretty well-known backup, especially at this point. So I think that if the Ducks are the team that was seemingly scoring 7 goals a night, it seems like at the beginning of the season, it would be fascinating to see if Colorado could do that. I think Makar obviously has been hurt. He hasn't played, to my knowledge, since I think last week, which could be just a precaution. They already had everything locked up. Why rush him back, obviously? But, I think the biggest thing that seems to not have been mentioned so far, Aaron brought up Kadri. Kadri's going to get suspended, guys. It's the playoffs. We're forgetting here. Like, noted goon Kadri. I mean, no, I think all jokes aside, like I think that there's certainly an Anaheim team that could steal a game or two. Even as one of the biggest Ducks fans I know, I have a hard time saying I think that the Ducks could realistically beat the Avalanche, unfortunately. And even if they do, you're rewarded by playing Dallas, Minnesota's winner. So it's oh boy, it's a rough bracket for sure. But I think that ultimately, from a growth perspective, as tough as it would be to hear it, I think the Ducks could honestly afford to gain maybe a loss by Colorado, to get their shit kicked in, right? Like, it's something ultimately that, you're not going to go from missing the playoffs 8 years to winning a Stanley Cup, as much as it pains me to say that. You kind of need to learn, you kind of need to know what it's like to lose. And ultimately, who better to do it than to be the President's Trophy winning team from basically wire to wire almost. But I do kind of understand where Andrew's coming from. I think that there is something to be said about the President's Trophy winners not making it out of the second round in 7 of the last 8 years, something like that. I think it would be fascinating. Honestly, as weird as it is, I almost feel like statistically the Ducks are a better matchup than the Kings are against them. I don't know if I'm going to say they'd be a better matchup than the Oilers necessarily. I think that'd be fascinating, but I don't know. I think that it could be interesting, but I think ultimately Avalanche would still win.
Yeah, well, let's hope we avoid that because I don't want to watch them get murdered. Like, it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. I don't want to watch it.
Tough.
Okay, now before we wrap up a few things here, and I have a couple more questions for you guys. I will mention that now the Ducks have clinched the playoffs. Since we do work for the Ducks, I have to do a little drop here. We have a coffee pop-up shop at Play Coffee in downtown Orange that we open today. We will be there every day between now and whenever our playoff run ends, hopefully June when we win the Cup.
Yes.
I don't know what hours every day, but we'll be there every day. There's activations, and we're selling merch and all kinds of stuff. So if you're a Ducks fan and you want to come check out some playoff stuff, please come to Play Coffee over the next couple weeks and check it out. Now, we're not gonna pick them today, but I am gonna send you guys a link once we know the brackets. We're gonna do the Stanley Cup bracket challenge on the app. We're gonna create a group and we're gonna do it and see who can win. So good luck to you, gentlemen, when we get there. Last thing before we wrap up, you're just gonna give me first thought. I don't need any explanation. Just first, when I ask you the question, each of you tell me who you think is gonna match up in the Stanley Cup final. So I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. Again, just first things off the top of your head. Who's in the Stanley Cup final? Tyler.
I mean, it's been my pick the last couple of years. Dallas, Carolina.
Okay, Dallas, Carolina. I like it. Andrew?
Tampa Bay, Dallas.
Ooh, okay. Aaron?
And to be different and stick with my guns, I've got Dallas, Ottawa.
Dallas, Ottawa. Oh,
This
God.
is not possible.
Okay.
Dallas, Ottawa.
Dallas.
Now, I didn't tell you guys what I was going to pick, and we didn't talk about this before, so nobody has any idea of who picked what. Tyler, I have the same as you, dude. I have the Hurricanes and the Stars in the final. I don't know why. I just feel like Dallas has the chance to get over the hump finally for the first time, and I think it's the same thing for Carolina. It'd be those two teams that have been in it a lot the last couple of years, finally getting an actual a shot at the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So we'll see who's right as far as we go there. Now, again, in your matchup that you have, who do you have hoisting the Stanley Cup when it's all said and done? Andrew?
Dallas.
Okay. Aaron?
Dallas.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ottawa. Tyler?
I only promise getting out of the East.
Tyler, who you got winning the Cup, sir?
The Anaheim Ducks. That wasn't the question.
goodness.
I'm just kidding. Hopefully not.
Who you got?
I have Dallas as well. That would be my pick.
Okay, Tyler, did you look at my document and that I wrote in white font so you couldn't read it and read my picks? Jeez. Gosh, I thought we were all going to get different. I
the
have
question
Dallas Stars winning the Cup as well.
Point of question.
Yeah.
Do we know it was white? I mean, could it have been a different color that maybe we?
Oh my
Hey, okay. I know I'm colorblind here, guys, but black and white are probably the only two colors I can for sure see all the time. So,
Okay.
yes, I can
Well,
guarantee that.
we know
Because
who's not winning
I'm on
the
the
Cup.
page and I'm highlighting it now so I can read it because I couldn't before I highlighted it. So,
Yeah.
yes, I did do it right.
Dallas round one exit confirmed.
Yeah, now we know Dallas is not winning anything. We can't all be right.
Oh, goodness. Okay, guys, I appreciate you taking out the time. Obviously, Aaron and Tyler flying from Minnesota to Nashville. It's already,
Yes.
what, 1:20 in the morning over there for you guys, so I appreciate
like
you staying
that.
up
Yeah,
late
you're
and doing
good.
this. Yeah,
Go ahead up Broadway.
like I always tell you guys, we'll sleep when we're dead. We work too many weird hours that we're going to
Precisely.
get regular sleep anyway, so it doesn't matter. Andrew, last thoughts before we wrap up, sir?
Tyler and Aaron, go hit up Broadway after the game. Go have some fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully you're celebrating
Hopefully
the Ducks win,
celebrating.
too.
Hopefully celebrating.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to some hockey tomorrow and wrap up this season, and then we finally know where everyone's playing and when.
Yes,
No time.
absolutely. Win is a big part of it. Win and where is a huge part. All right. Tyler, Aaron, any last thoughts from Nashville, Tennessee before we sign out?
I think the only thing I can say is it just feels good to be back in the playoffs. It's something that, after a while you start to wonder, are we really going to be stuck in this forever? You look at a team like Buffalo, obviously we just made it into the playoffs too, and we're always happy that you cut your streak out as soon as you can. There's that. I mean, Detroit's still on their drought now, and it's nice to be
It's true.
at least on the positive side of it, and that's something that you can't take it away from us. We're a playoff team. Let's go!
I don't think anyone touched on the subject I think it's a huge boost for playoffs to have Joel Quenneville as the head coach behind all these
Oh,
Yeah,
guys.
dude, you're right.
Massive.
Huge.
Mhm.
I mean, him being the coach is why we are where we are at all this year. Let's be
exactly.
honest. Like a year ago, we had almost the same team, and we didn't do nearly as good. So, coaching is a big part of that. Obviously, the assistant
Very
coaches
true.
too. Two of them should be head coaches elsewhere, and they're assisting with him. So, power to them for doing that. Any other last thoughts before we wrap up out of here, guys?
I think the biggest thing ultimately is we should be really promoting our Fear the Flock. I know the organization is very much trying to really try to create some new stuff. Obviously, we were very big in the painted orange for years. ultimately it's something
Now it's
that
Orange Country.
exactly Orange Country. You know, we're really trying to make sure that we're supporting our team. As Aaron mentioned, it is so good to be in the playoffs again. You know, I think it's been quite a while, obviously, for us. And, you know, I apologize to our Red Wings fans who lost 8-1 to the Panthers today.
God.
That's Yzerplan seemingly has yet another bump to it. So it's something
might be the last one.
yeah, I think it's just really excited to be in the playoffs again.
Awesome. I'm with you. Okay, now one last thing. I know I said we're going to wrap up a couple times, but the Ducks organization, we had a loss of our family earlier this week. It's been announced on social media and stuff, so if you guys follow the Ducks on any of that kind of stuff, you'll already have known. Paulo Come was our security guard who was at the Southeast doors every single day. I have been working at Honda Center since 2007, so he's been there. He was there for 25 years, so he was there every day I got there, going to the store, saying hello, love you, brother. You guys are my kids coming into the store. I know you guys all think the same thing. I'm going to try not to cry as I get through this. I've already cried enough the last 2 days about it. It's been a rough time around the organization. We've had players, even Strome, who's no longer on the team and is now in Calgary, tweeting about how much Paul meant to him, and he was only on the team for a couple years here in Anaheim. So we just want to say we're thinking about the family. We know Paul, his wife passed a couple years ago, so the only positive we took out of it is that he is now with her. So we just want to say we're sorry and we miss you, Paul. We love you. And as I've started to saying, love you, brother, because that was always Paul's thing when we saw him. So just want to make sure we mention Paul, and hopefully the Ducks can take that with them and maybe use it as a rally cry to win a cup for Paul. Okay, I'm going to try to stop because I'm going to start crying. If you guys want to say anything else about Paul before we wrap up.
I mean, he's just been always a part of the team, and he's been a part of my journey with the team as well from day one, literally from day zero when I'm going in there for interviews. And it was a highlight of my day to talk to him and get his score prediction. And he's always the most positive guy to be around. And it's gonna be tough to go back there and not have him there. But I'm just really happy that like you said, he's gonna be with his loved one, and that we'll have always the memories to keep with us too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think ultimately,
Tyler, Andrew, anything?
Yeah, it's been rough. We knew we'd been in the hospital for a couple of days, so it wasn't like that was unexpected necessarily. Of course, the family respected privacy or requested privacy, and of course we were granting it. Paul, I think clearly for anybody who had the pleasure of meeting him, anybody had the pleasure of interacting with him, even just for 2 seconds, I think it's pretty well known he was everyone's favorite employee. Was just genuinely the best, kindest, good-natured person that, as Corey mentioned, he's been here since 2007. Aaron and I both got hired in 2017. And, even just from that short time, seeing somebody on a daily basis, seeing somebody on a weekly basis, like Paul is he's one of the best people that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And I'm very thankful for the Ducks for being able to bring us together. For us personally, we got the news as we were boarding the flight from Portland to Minneapolis, and it was a very rough, long 3-hour flight. Not going to get too into it, obviously, like Corey. Same thing, of course.
It was a rough day around the building and the office yesterday when they told us all.
I can certainly imagine. I think, we will certainly love and miss Paul. I think there won't be a day that goes by that I will be able to work for this organization and not think of Paul. I love that brother. I will always miss him, and I think that
Andrew, any thoughts? I know you've been there a little bit less than Aaron and Tyler, but you've been there a few years now as well, and I've gotten to know Paul very well. So your thoughts, or if you want to say anything.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to know him very well. I have seen him around a lot, though, the 3 years I've been there, but it's devastating and such a loss to the organization. Such a big personality, a big heart, and rest in peace.
Yep, that's the best way to do it. You big Samoan guy, that's the best way to do it. Hang loose and give him that sign. I agree. Yep. All right, now I know we had to sign off on a little bit of a somber note, but unfortunately, life happens, and we had to let everyone know. Again, it's out in the public, and people know it's not a secret. So we just We love Paul and miss him a lot, so we just want to make sure we mention him. So
Love you,
let us know in the comments below who you got matching up in the Stanley Cup final. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at RVUFTB. Tell us why you got the Ducks winning the cup or not, unless you're Aaron, because he hates the team. You know, he says he likes them. But other than that,
I love him so
love
much.
you, Paul,
That's just how it happens. It's tough love. It's called tough love.
Said, we miss Paul. We love you, Paul, and let's go Ducks.
Yeah.
Let's hope we get something for him. Until next time, Benchwarmers, stay ready. This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.